The room fell into a tense silence as President John F. Kennedy adjusted the papers in front of him. Cameras clicked faintly in the corners, reporters scribbled hurriedly, but Kennedy's attention was drawn elsewhere, to a letter lying on the mahogany desk. Its envelope was worn, slightly yellowed at the edges, and the handwriting was delicate, trembling even. He hesitated for a moment, sensing instinctively that what he was about to read carried the weight of a life forever altered. Then, with a quiet exhale, he began reading aloud. "My dear Mr. President," the letter began. "I write to you as a widow, left behind when my husband, Corporal Michael Harris, made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. I do not ask for medals or public recognition, only that his name, his life, and his love for our nation be remembered." As Kennedy's voice resonated through the room, the words seemed to hover in the air, heavy and solemn. Reporters, staff, and aides shifted uncomfortably. They had read countless letters from families, heard speeches about valor and sacrifice, but something about the raw honesty in this widow's words cut through the usual decorum. Each line spoke of heartbreak, of midnight vigils spent alone, of laughter that now existed only in memory. Kennedy paused for a moment, glancing up to see the faces around him. Some were pressed against each other, trying to hold back tears. The letter described Michael's final letters home, the little jokes he had sent to make his young wife smile, the promise he had made to one day build a home and plant a garden for their children. Now, that promise lay shattered, and she was left to navigate a world that suddenly felt cruelly empty. He continued reading, "I beg of you, sir, not for pity, but for action. Remember the men who do not return. Remember the families who wait endlessly at train stations and quiet dining rooms. And please, do not forget the humanity behind the uniform. Every name, every face, every soul matters." Kennedy's own eyes glistened. He placed a hand gently on the letter, his knuckles whitening slightly. In that moment, he was no longer president. He was a man among men and women, a fellow human being who understood grief not through headlines or statistics, but through a simple, aching truth: love lost, lives cut short, promises unfulfilled. Aide after aide wiped their eyes discreetly, but Kennedy's voice never faltered. He looked up and addressed the room, his tone solemn, yet resonant with a quiet strength. "This letter," he said, "reminds us that behind every figure in the reports, behind every casualty, there are stories of courage, sacrifice, and love. And it is our duty, every single one of us, to honor those stories, to support those left behind, and to ensure that their sacrifices are never forgotten." The room, heavy with emotion, seemed to exhale collectively. But Kennedy wasn't finished. He called for the letter to be preserved, for it to be shared with tea.